You're welcome.
Yes. My name is Sikirulai Bello.
Oh, you are most welcome.
Yes, a friend to Sabian Aladekomo.
Oh.
An alumnus.
Oh, alumnus. Wow.
Of Oshobo Grammar School.
That is it.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Yeah.
Most welcome.
Yeah.
Great guy. Thank you.
Keep pushing.
Keep pushing. Up school.
Up school.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think it's good to start. We want to appreciate those of us who have come on time. My name is Oriyomi Oladeji. Like someone just remarked, our guest today was a year my senior in Oshobo Grammar School. And he then was my mentor, especially in mathematics. I will not forget when we were having trouble with longitude and latitude. They were the people who helped us to understand it. even our teachers. So you can see teachers are not just mentors, but even fellow students. So we appreciate your life. Aladekomo, and not more than that.
Thank you very much.
We are neighbors, even at Oshobo. So I know even the growth from almost nothing to the grace of God he is today. So it's not just him we are celebrating God's grace in his life. And we really give God the glory. And our burden is that the issue of leadership at a big scale, the leadership challenge, even in the country as a whole, is our passionate concern. Why are we not getting it right? What is the issue with us? And there are many leadership schools of thought and institutions. And yet, especially in Nigeria, please, with all due respect to participants all over the world, but we see what is going on in the country, and not only in the country. Some of us who have been privileged to attend many fora. Many a times the reference is that the problem is leadership. The problem is leadership. And that is why in Joyous Innovation 67, we decided to bring up veteran leaders that we know across all the aspects of life. We believe, we are holistic in our perspective. Even this leadership challenge cut across, be it organizations, be it religious settings, be it educational setting, and the business setting. So we hope that with this webinar, we are going to not just come up with theoretical, just talking, but concrete action, things to take action upon. We are believing that most of us who are in this webinar, we go home with decision to take some steps. Joyous Innovation 67 is making its own contribution in this way. And we also want to just remark that as we interact with our guests today, please, we want you to be, be free. We will be pausing after each response from him. We will be pausing and allow participants to either ask further questions or make contribution. So once again, you are most welcome. Please, we want you to understand that we are recording this proceeding because it's going to be uploaded and to further social media for impact. So once again, you are welcome, and I want to also recognize the innovation team members who are already online. Yeah, you are all recognized. My wife is here with us, Reverend Dr. Mrs. Aladekomo. You are welcome. Victor Balogun, I think is online with us. You are welcome. Timothy Aderoga, you are welcome.
I told you I'm ready.
Thank you. Thank you. Aladekomo Olade, not to Ekwe has been shown on the on the platform.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know why it's showing me as Eke.
Don't mind technology. There may be some mix-up sometime like that. So please, we will hit the road right away, and others will be joining us. Please, Aladekomo, permit me to use your first name, Demola. Please, we will. The first question is that you started Chams with little capital and a big dream. We've spoken a lot about you with the adverts. Because of time, what do you think separates dreamers who succeed from dreamers who fail?
Okay, thank you very much. It's with deep humility and lots of appreciation that I do thank the organizers, most especially my dear brother, Pastor Ladaji, for inviting me to this program. It's a major honor, and I'm not taking it for granted. You have 1,000,001 people to have invited, so we thank you. And we thank the audience for joining us. You could be spending your time doing a lot of other things. So joining us is a major favor to the organizers and to this humble creature of God. Thank you. And we hope that you learn one or two things as you go along the line. If I can just crave your indulgence, when you are not speaking or asking questions, if you can just mute. But some people may not know how to mute. I don't know if the organizers can.
I think what I will do, Demola, is I will mute everybody. Can you unmute yourself again?
All right, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. All right, to your first question. Yes, Chams was started by the grace of God with little or no capital. And your question is, what separates dreamers from achievers? I believe we all dreams, we all have vision. And the major difference I can cite for of a lot of reasons why people achieve their dreams and some do not. Number one is taking action. Our works. We can dream till eternity without action, without rising up and taking action on those activities. Nothing is going to be achieved. And not just any action. I rather prefer to qualify it as execution. How are you executing those dreams? You can be moving. You can be moving within a spot and not making progress. So you can have action, you can have activities, but without progress. So your execution, your focused execution, knowing where you are going to and how to get there comes knowledge on what you are working on. So all those will be encompassed under execution. Long story, but we only have 1 hour. The next one is diligence. You know where you are going, you gathered all the tools to get it done. You have all the necessary capital, all the human resources, intellectual resources, everything. But are you diligent about it? You come across a lot of people that have all the resources in the world, all the connections, yet they are not able to achieve their dreams or their vision. Focus. Number 3, quite a lot of us have multiple dreams at the same time. We want to pursue 1,001 things. We're working in an organization, yet we are running our own businesses. When the man says, have multiple sources of income, it didn't say start deceiving your employers or your employees. It only means that, look, if you are working and you're going to have a separate source of income, it's going to be an investment that is working for you. It's not that you're going to take somebody's time, an employer's time, and be using it to do your own job. You're not focused. So your dream is to work in MTN, in Chams, in First Bank or Zenith. Yet you are running your own business. You are not being focused. The other one, the last one I like to state here is time and chance. If you recollect, number 1, I say take action, deeds, works. And the book of James 2, one of my favorite chapters in the Bible, speaks about our faith, our dreams, and our works. The second one is diligence. The third one, focus. The fourth one is a major one. And I like to take this a little bit philosophically. Time and chance happens to us all. That when you are successful, when you are I quote from a favorite book, and some of you know that book. It says, I have observed something under the sun. I have observed something else under the sun. The fastest runner doesn't always win the race, and the strongest warrior doesn't always win the battle. The wise sometimes go hungry, and the skillful not necessarily wealthy. And those who are educated don't always live successful lives. It is not decided by chance, by being in the right place at the right time. From the good books, I'm not preaching, but Ecclesiastes 9:11. Sometimes when we are successful, I do not want us to just take it that is because we're able to execute, we are diligent, we focus. The grace of God does matter. And Oriyomi did mention that we are classmates. And I've seen Morakinyo, one of my classmates. When you are successful, be humble. May the Lord bless us all. So those are the 4 things that we separate dreamers and achievers. Not necessarily because they haven't taken action, not just because they are not diligent, which they must do. You must take action, you must be diligent, You must be focused, but sometimes time and chance does that. And these are coming from my 37 years of experience. Now I'm able to talk more about being successful than when I was younger. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Like we promised the participants, please, if you have any question or contribution to make, please indicate by the icon of raising your hand, and we will give you a chance. Meanwhile, before this webinar, Demola, Sir Demola, please. Don't the leaders in this country, Nigeria, they also have dreams. They are dreamers. And if you, most of them, they, in their younger years, they had dreams, and even for organization. And yet, in particular for this country, I don't know whether you can say any leader has succeeded in this, among the leaders, especially in this country. I don't know, maybe from your personal opinion, do you have any political leader, whether president or governor, that we can say is a dreamer and he has achieved? Otherwise, what we are saying is, what do you think has been the undoing of these leaders? Why we haven't recorded success in their leadership?
Thank you so much. Success is very relative, I may say. Very, very relative. What do you call success by a leader? And what do you call a failure? Mother Teresa worked heavily in India, and a US senator came to visit her. I was wondering and said, look, how do you measure success, Mother Teresa? When do you know you've succeeded with these hundreds of thousands of poor people? Mother Teresa was shocked. He said, look, what do you call success? Mine is to work faithfully, trying to achieve the vision that God has given me. And I leave success unto him. I work by faith, not by success that is measured by human beings. Being successful, I say, is very, very relative. Unfortunately, in the country you're mentioning, Nigeria, is not just limited to us. It's a human issue. You ask Americans, do they have, how many of their presidents have succeeded? They probably scratch their heads. If they are black, possibly they call Obama. If they are white, they probably say Robert F. Kennedy, John F. Kennedy. It's pretty relative. And let me just take it to a different level for those of us in businesses or working in places. To limit our condemnation of the leaders as much as possible. What is the vision? What metrics are we using to measure our leaders? In Nigeria, now coming specifically to your question, you may say Awolowo succeeded. But who are we not to say that Obasanjo did not succeed? What metrics are we using? So a global condemnation or approval of leaders may be a little bit relative. It depends on the metrics. It depends on the vision that the person has. The most important thing is for a leader to be faithful to his vision and be able to achieve it within the metrics that he has set for himself. So I will find it a little bit difficult to condemn a lot of leaders or even say they've done very well.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I think you have answered wisely, and we appreciate your objective way of looking at it. The next person I'm happy to introduce is my mentor, Ray Wheeler. He's based in America. And that's one aspect about Joyous Innovation 67. We link people together with prospective mentor in different aspects of life. So over to you, Ray Wheeler, you are welcome.
Thank you. I particularly appreciate your last comments on not having a blanket condemnation, but to have a more targeted perspective on assessing leadership performance. I'd like to go back for a moment to what inspired your dream for Chams in the first place. Was it an internal drive? Was it an experience? Was it a mentor? Was it a class? What gave you the idea? What inspired the actions that you followed and focused on that would help people trying to determine which dream to follow to know, where they're going to put their energy? Does that question make sense?
Yes, it does. A little bit complex, complicated, but it does. If I have to use one word, poverty. Poverty. I grew up from a very wealthy family, obnoxiously wealthy. Unfortunately, we lost the wealth when my father became sick, and then we had the civil war in Nigeria. That drove us into massive poverty. Now, I see that you have some religious folks there. When they say you are as poor as a church rats do have paper, they have the Bible, they have the books to sometimes chew on. When you are as poor as I was when I was growing up, you had little or nothing. So I saw poverty growing up, and that drove me to becoming very entrepreneurial right from the early stages. And because I saw that poverty, I'm driven by trying to lift as many people up as I can within the limited resources that God has given one. Unfortunately, I also had a couple of experiences that helped my entrepreneurship, that also brought me closer to people via faith, and that drove my my drive into having a vision. Like Ray, I then got a mentor who very early on in my career, former career, came into our life and asked, what's your vision? And by late 80s, he started asking, what's your vision? What's your vision? And it allowed one to summarize those experiences coming from poverty into the willingness to want to help, and the entrepreneurial drive into coming up with a vision. Unfortunately, that vision is what drives us till today. It's a very, very simple vision that came out, again, from my experience with poverty, knowing wealth, and then deep poverty, the kind of poverty that you develop goose pimples when you think about to entrepreneurial skills on survivor, to meeting a mentor, a gentleman called Professor Adebayo, who drove us towards having a vision. He retired as the Archbishop of the Anglican Communion in Lagos. That vision, like I said, is very simple. Glorify God through service to humanity. Glorify God through service to humanity. God we cannot see, we want to glorify him. But humanity, you can see in large numbers. And if you serve humanity that is created by God, then you can glorify him. No need just shouting Jesus or the Holy Prophet Allah, Jesus Allah, Jesus Allah, without serving his creation, or even in the traditional religion. It's a creation that you can see what difference are you making. And in one of the good books, it is said that if you can do this for my people, then you have done it for me. So you can see God that you can serve. And that is our vision. And that vision, when you bring it to the corporate world, it does have a lot of elements. Service to humanity. A lot of us, we run after money, which is putting the cart before the horse. Interestingly enough, putting the cart before the horse. We just want to make money, 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 money. And it's just so irritating. It's so childish. Just give me the money. Are you going to get money without creating value, without offering service to humanity? By offering service, you are creating value. Without creating that value, that money is not going to come. Even if you go and do what you call in Nigeria, Yahoo Yahoo Plus, you just must create value to make money. And the good book said, pour me plant, Apollo me water. But the increase will only come from God. It's only by you creating that value, by working, that you have that. So serving the society, serving humanity, is that vision that we have. And it's created so much value for us all through our career by just having that vision. But we did start business before that vision came up. But fortunately, very early on, we were able to encapsulate even what you've done in the past by saying, yes, you were serving our God, by serving people. We drove taxis in Lagos, which was rendering service to humanity, most especially for people that did not have access to it. Our egg distribution, we had this egg distribution, which I believe, even after 40 years, somebody should still go back to that egg distribution business in Nigeria, in Africa, and get it done. Is a lucrative one. You can render services to people, create value for them, make a lot of money. And it led us to everything we did in Chams, which are highly innovative. And we made reasonable money by being of service to humanity. Thank you, Ray, for that beautiful question. I believe you are muted or something. Or I'm the one that is not.
Oh, no. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you can hear me now. So once again, participants, please raise your hands if you have any contribution or question. Please, we ask Dr. Mrs. Oladeji, please, can you just help us with the next question there? Yeah. Mrs. Oladeji, unmute yourself and speak to us.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for the impactful answers you have given us, Sir Aladekomo.
Please,
Thank you for.
Hold on, Mrs. Oladeji, please, hold on.
Okay.
We see the hands of Chooks Ekwe. Please, let's give him a chance. Okay, can you speak to us, Chooks Ekwe? Before Mrs. Oladeji can continue afterwards. Unmute yourself, Chooks Ekwe, and make your contribution. Chooks, you are raising your hands. Chooks Ekwe. Okay, we don't know whether it's by accident, so Mrs. Oladeji, can you continue?
Okay, I was trying to appreciate our host and our guest for the impactful answers that has given us. And thank God for you've been successful. You've impacted even our son. The time he was to do IT, he was with you in Lagos. Though I don't know you like my husband, but that time you came to our heart and our lives. Thank you very much, sir. The question we are asked to ask you is that, what has your success taught you? You know you are successful. Maybe let me take the next question so that you can answer them together because they are related. The first is, what has your success taught you? The next one says, have you experienced failure? How do you approach failure? I think you can take the two together for us.
All right. Thank you so much. May I just note to the organizers, it would look as if Zoom changed some people's name to Ekwe Chuks, a lot of people.
Okay,
so they need to
okay,
go there and change those names. All right, change their name to what it is.
yeah.
Thank you very much, Madam, for that. I think I remember your son very well. Very lovely entrepreneurial son. May the Lord bless him and may he succeed greatly.
Amen.
Right. Now, success is very relative, just like the way I looked at Ray Wheeler's question. What is success? A lot of times we tend to look at success from the perspective of being rich, of having money. Success is very, very relative. We shouldn't define success by the amount of cash we have. I don't think that's a very good metric. One of the most successful people I ever worked with was a driver of mine called Sally, who is very, very contented. Sally was on a salary of 40,000 about 30 years ago. Probably is like 120,000 now. But very contented with life. I'll be running all over the whole place. But Sally will sit, pardon me, with a bottle of stout when we close during the weekend, Friday, with a rapper, whistling in my compound, enjoying himself till Saturday or whenever I want to go out. But I was busy running all over. So who is more successful? Is this Sally, my driver, or myself with tons of money running all over the whole place? Now, that brings me to another metrics of success. Money, cash. I like to leave this with us, what money can buy. All that, what you call success, denominated in cash. We buy us a bed, but not sleep. It will buy us medicine, but not health. It will buy us the Bible, but not heaven. It will buy us a woman or a man, but not a wife or a husband. It will buy us a house, but not a home. It will buy us the luxuries, but not finance. The most important thing in life, money cannot buy it. So how do you define success? It has to come back to, for me, it comes back to your vision and the metrics by which you are measuring that vision. For us, is service to humanity. So if you're able to come up with a product, a solution that has affected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lives positively, then for me, you are very successful. It's not the amount of cash that you have, but the impact that you have on people's lives, those that you've been fortunate to influence, either in terms of their education or their well-being and things like that. What has it taught us? That success just like failure, I will come to failure, is for a season. Nothing lasts forever, apart from the grace of God. Nothing lasts forever, apart from the grace of God. Success and failure, they're like a graph. You have dips, you have highs, you have valleys, you have mountains. As you go on in life, when you plot it, and it keeps going on, to me that is successful. That's success. But times in life, you have those dips, you have those valleys. They are failures. But how do you manage those moments of highs and the moments of lows? That's what's also going to determine a successful man. Even in failure, when you fail, a successful man fail relative to the world. You thank God that, yes, I had this deep. What are the lessons that I'm going to learn from it? But you must have conditioned your mind that it is for a season. Your success at that particular height is for a season. When you go through the failure, it's for a season. Now, the man said, a successful man is not a man that does not fail or that does not fall. He's a man that rises more times than he falls. And he goes with that high and low of life. If when you fail, you stay a failure, then you are done for life. If when you are successful, you assume that you're never going to fail, then your failure may be tough. You may never rise up out of it. It is for a season. Do not give up when you fail. And do not let lose your guard when you are successful, knowing that nothing lasts forever. Again, it goes back to what vision you have for yourself. Even in a failure, creating values for our society. And the mighty one has a way of letting you know when, yes, according to the world's metrics, it looks as if you failed. But that mighty one will just come back to you and say, look, no, my son, my daughter, you haven't failed. Relative to what the world is saying, you have failed. But for me, you haven't failed. Just like Mother Teresa, she didn't cure poverty in India, did she? But relatively, we all know that she succeeded. If it was just one single life that she touched, you are not supposed to resolve the world's problem. You're not supposed to be the richest man in life. Bill Gates was rich for a season. Steve Jobs was the richest for a season. All of them, just for a season. But it didn't mean that they were also failure when they lost that position. So your vision will make you determine if you are successful or not. And I just give an example. You asked if we failed before. Actually, I can talk more about failures to you, madam, and our audience than success, because I don't know what success means, apart from just serving humanity. By failure, I do know what failure means. When your project, major national projects, when they go granted. I was the MD of Chams PLC when we had a massive failure on the national ID card project. Before that, we've had a lot of success. I mean, we pioneered e-payment systems in Nigeria, all those debit cards, the ATM, the POS, was pioneered by the team I led in Chams. The team I led, it wasn't a solo effort. I had a very, very good team, possibly one of the best in the country, if not the world. So we pioneered a lot of technologies, networking, identity management, e-payment in Nigeria. And we're on top of the world until we had this major project called National ID. And we did quite a lot of things, if I may say. We got into Guinness World Record. We thought we were on top of the world, creating the largest digital mall in the world. We created, we implemented the largest ID card plant in the world, 1.75 million cards a day, when the Chinese were not doing that. Great jobs for a third world country. Out of the blues, the federal government got involved, cancelled our project, not just cancelled, practically stole our IP, stole our design, stole our staff, stole our technical partners. And I use the word stole because I published it in papers and implemented it on their own. And a company that was at that high experienced technical bankruptcy. We couldn't pay salaries. Massive failure. A company that got into Guinness World Record, largest car plant, pioneered this, pioneered that. It was massive failure. Initially, it was tough. But in all this, we had peace. We had peace. God was saying, who told you that you failed? And at the end, at the height of it, when we were about giving up, like he said in the good books, it will not give you a temptation that is beyond your level or your capacity to accept it. It will not tempt you beyond the reasonable level. And at that level, we were able to survive by implementing another major project on national ID in a different way, and that's the BVN project by the same Chams PLC, Chams Access team, implemented the BVN. So sometimes you think that you failed, you have a dip, do not give up. Sometimes you think you are successful, do not relax, because the enemy, faith, that devilish one can just come to you when you lay down your guard. But most importantly is to define your vision, that this is what I want to achieve. And I tried my very best. And once you've done your best, you just leave the rest to God. So briefly, that's what I want to say about success and failure.
Yeah.
For now, but like I said, I can talk about failure till the time for a while.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, somebody remarked you are a bundle of knowledge and wisdom. We really appreciate you. I know it's God's gift to you. And like you have earlier said, this part of service to humanity, because we know what is coming out of you today is going to go a long way in the lives of many people. And we continue to work hard as an organization, how some of these knowledge and wisdom will go far and wide. Please, let me just go to the next question here. Starting a business is time consuming. How did you keep your marriage healthy as your business grew? What advice will you give to couples about staying vibrant and healthy in their love for one another?
Very good. Great question. And I'm happy the last person that asked a question was our very dear wife, mother, and sister, Ms. Aladekomo. Thank you so much for asking this question about family. And it still revolves around what you call success or failure. Some people can be very, very successful in business and back at home, they are massive failure. Their marriages are in tatters. Their children are all over the whole place. Yes, I know that I did say sometimes time and chance happens to us all, but we need to really, really work at it. It does not mean diligence, being focused should be thrown away. For me, creating one, appreciating God and that institution of marriage is very, very important. The institution of marriage is sacrosanct. When he says the children shall become one, is pretty deep. The two of them becoming one means equality. It means recognition. It means appreciation of the other partner. And for us in my clan, the husband is always like the man of the house. Yes, he is the head, but he has a lot of duties which business must not be allowed to change. The wife also has equal amount of responsibilities, which is obedience, submission, duty of care and love, just like the responsibility for the husband of abundance of love. The husband just must love and love without any exception. And that's what the inscription, just love for the man, submission, and duty of care for the woman. Now, so if you now take it to business, it is for us to create quality time, very quality time in our homes for our spouses. There is no excuse that you are working 24 hours without creating that time for your wife, for your children. There's no excuse that you are working out there. It's not the amount of, if I may say, hours that you give to them. I've seen friends that are given hours staying at home, but when they are at home, is a lot of noise, a lot of tension, a lot of fighting. So what's the usefulness of those hours? I rather prefer that we give quality time to our spouses, to our families, so that, sorry, I'm moving because of my power supply. All right, so we need to give quality time. There has to be peace. It has to be a godly environment where our God is number one. After doing, before even doing our duties, we put our God first. With that, will now come the duty of care, love, obedience, submission, charity to everybody that is around us. For people that say they work 24 hours, I do not respect them. You can work 24 hours, but still give quality time to your spouse. When you are on leave, when you're at home, the 2-3 hours before you go to bed must be one that your wife or your spouse must know that you are there, body, soul, and spirit. There must be things that when you come home, they will enjoy. I don't know, I'm just talking theoretically now. My wife happens to be online, but I think I've tried to discuss some of my feelings about time. But she kept saying that, look, but you spend 2-3 hours at home. So whatever I'm saying is the 2-3 hours every day that one tries to make to count. It is not the quantity, but the quality of that time. When you create time to go on holidays, 1-2 weeks, not necessarily 1 whole month or 2 months, but that 1 week, that 2 weeks that you're on holidays, let it count for something. Those of us in Africa, we hardly enjoy what God has given us. How do we make it count? Communication, as it goes with what I've said. Appreciation of each other. When we now come into those 2-3 hours that we spend at home or with our spouses or with our children. The major issue is not appreciating the other party. Simple things like thank you. A lady has worked 8 hours, 10 hours, has gone through the traffic, prepared your food to say thank you, but I give you housekeeping allowance. Excuse me, what housekeeping allowance did you give? Your husband has come home from work. A man, we are beating her there. People saying thank you for providing. Because tough, are you the only one working? It gets met by a lot of issues. Now, these are the appreciation, gratitude to each other, to God. I believe is a major. And I will still emphasize quality time. Quality time. All in no particular order, they must be combined. Recognizing your separate duties, the husband, pure love, the wife, duty of care and attention, appreciation leading to massive gratitude, creating quality time, making God first. So no matter how busy you are, these are things. A phone call during the course of the day, a text, fortunately, a simple text will not take more than 2-3 minutes. A simple phone call, how are you doing? Appreciating, thank you. Actually, that word thank you is, actually it should be written in gold. Why can we not say thank you to our partners? Why can we not say, God bless you? Is it that tough? Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. This is awesome. It's so impactful. Now, please permit me, Ray, before I let you in, I noticed that quite a number of participants, there are a lot of questions on the chat I can get out for already. And I will, please permit me to just read the 4 questions, and Demola can address any one of them at the same time. The first one I would like to read is, how can you further step down your wealth of experience to younger generation via mentorship? Somebody, I'm trying to get the name of those people. Some people feel there is tension between ministry and business. How do you address that kind of tension? Okay, maybe you can please step down on that one. Please step down on that one. It's still coming up. How did you manage the Nigeria factor on the series of innovation you batted? Then the third one, how can you further step down your, okay, the same thing. I think so. Just 2 questions. How did you manage the Nigeria factor on the series of innovation you batted? And how can you further step down your wealth of experience to younger generation via mentorship? I think maybe it may still reoccur, but meanwhile, somebody asked those questions. Please, can you address those?
My apologies, I lost you briefly.
Okay.
Just, can you rephrase it?
Yes, I said, somebody asked, how can you further step down your wealth of experience to younger generation via mentorship?
Okay. Fortunately for me, I have a couple of platforms which I believe a lot of us also have. I worship in a church, so that gives me a couple of platforms, and I sit on the board of some educational institutions. Those also give me platforms, and I work with students on various social issues. So I've been very well blessed having all these platforms, time consuming, but we do that. Mentorship also, people do contact one, especially young couples and even older ones. So it's something all of us should do, create time to do all this. So one is very, very fortunate. Also in the work environment, we should turn our work environment not just to boss our staff issue, but to leadership, towards becoming leaders. The role of a leader is not to dictate in the work environment. That's the job of a boss. A leader will coach, will mentor. A leader will punish, will castigate with a lot of love. we correct before those mistakes actually are made. So is to become a leader in the workplace, in society, and things like that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, okay. Please, meanwhile, let's allow Ray to continue with the question from his side. Please go ahead, Ray Wheeler.
Thank you. I noticed on the Chams website that the company has outlined specific values that it operates by, which I looked through a lot of different websites over time, and a lot of companies put those values there. Some of those values in some companies have no relationship whatsoever to how the company operates. And so that leads me to two questions.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think Gray is back online.
Yeah, he's back. Okay.
I left you for a moment.
Yes.
Okay. So I noted that your company has clear values, and I was saying that in some companies that I've worked with in the past, their stated values don't have any bearing on their operation at all. So it would seem. And so two questions. How important is it to make implicit values explicit? And then what bearing does that have in the day-to-day operation of an organization? So kind of answer you have values, so what? What difference does it make? Does that make sense?
Yes, I think it does make sense that you must have your values and state them properly. In our own case, we have what you call Z case. But let me also start from the leadership. One, I believe there has to be a vision for any company, what you stand for, which is a goal that you will never achieve, but you must always strive to achieve. Then at regular period, you have mission statements. Those missions, you're going to be able to achieve them. And as you achieve them, you haven't achieved your vision, you keep going. And after that, you then have your strategic objectives, then the values to drive those objectives, the objectives that drive your mission that drive your vision. Now, your values should be written and very well communicated. For, I don't know how many of us here, we probably will create various kind of values. But most important ones, they are the values that must be written, just like it said, write it, commit it to heart, communicate it, let everybody within you know about it. But writing it, communicating it is one thing. Practicing it is another thing. I've seen a lot of values. In our own case, we brought in Ernst & Young, EY, one of the big four, to do strategy sessions for us, along with our vision, strategies and things like that. They came up with our values. And I believe a lot of organizations will come up with those. But as soon as they finish it, they put it in a book, put it in their bookshelf, and that's the end of it. Right? It must be very well stated, pasted all over the place. Once a week or once a month or a quarter, you call everybody and say that these are your values. Communicate it. But the most important one is acting it. The followers, the members of staff and management, we always look at what you do, not what you say, not even what you've written down. And he said that, the man said, Your actions speak so loud. I can't hear what you are saying. Your action speaks so loud. I cannot hear what you are saying. A lot of us leaders, we preach one thing and we do something else. And we think that the followership are not looking at us. And it becomes difficult in a developing economy. Is human, most especially when you have moral questions and values. You have things we're not going to be involved with corruption, which is the most important one. But when it now comes to time to get a major contract, you find it almost impossible to say no. You're not going to pay to get that contract. Your members of staff are looking at you. For me, corruption is almost like stealing. So you bribe to get that contract, and your value says no corruption, no lateness to work, no tardiness, zero tolerance for excuses, no lateness. Yet, and this is a major one because of this platform, you are taking that bribe and you are giving bribe. I do not know whether somebody in Chams is here. I need to apologize if one was obstinate. The example of the national ID thing is only about bribery. We are not saints. But when you get to that massive breach, that do you go technically bankrupt or you pay a bribe? That is where your value is tested. Any man can write any value. Is when you get to that level where your faith, like some people say, is being tested. That's when you know who you are. So Ray, values, I do not too much emphasis on us, but we should write it down, we should communicate it. Everybody should know where we stand as a company. Even as a family, they must know where you stand. What are the values in our families? What, if you call your children, what would they say about the values of the parents, the mother, the father? So it's not just defining it in the corporate world. We need to bring it down home. The simple thing like, sorry if I come back to the house, tell the man at the door, I'm not at home. Somebody's at knock the door. You told your child or your wife, go and tell them I'm not at home. You're confusing the poor child. There you are asking to go and say, you are not at, who have been deceiving in terms of our values. We lie to our wives, we lie to our children. So when we get to the work environment, Ray, I don't know if I've answered your question.
You have answered my question, and you've made it even more broadly applicable that values represent the consistency of our lives. And so that leads me to another question: is you have moved away from the day-to-day operation of Chams and are now serving on the board. How do you contribute to the continuation of the values that you in part invested in the company and the culture that creates? How do you ensure that those values continue as you move into this new role in the company?
Thank you very much. I never thought I was going to become the chairman of the board of Chams. It's an honor that came onto me unexpectedly. I thought I'd retired, and I was about leaving the board when I was called to chair it. I thank the members of the board and management for asking me to come back. So it's an honor I really, really appreciate. I'm not taking it for granted. But that also gives one the opportunity to entrench those values. One of them is the openness, transparency, zero tolerance for excuses, stating it exactly the same way that it is, which comes at a great price when the board have to make decisions. And fortunately, I've always had a board that allows us to say it exactly the same way. I did mention the example of when we were technically bankrupt. We went from multi-billionaire annual turnover to practically zero. And we had to meet our shareholders listed on the stock exchange. One of our values is transparency, just saying it exactly the way it is. So you have a listed coming on the exchange, declaring 200 million naira turnover. 200 million naira turnover today is like, I don't know, like $4 million or something like that. And you're on the exchange. And we prepared our annual reports, went to the shareholders, and we first went to the board. The board said, yes, that's what he did. And we're going to present it. So I went behind my chairman. I presented a 200 million turnover to our shareholders on the exchange, and they clapped. I was afraid that they were going to fire management after that applause. After they didn't fire us, they came congratulating us. That is unusual for you not to pad your books. And the board came back and congratulated us. And that's the way how we've been running the company, and it still remains at it today. We as a chairman, transparency, showing good faith, no excuses to our shareholders. When we go wrong, we accept it, and just state it exactly the same way it is, avoiding ethical issues as much as we can, and letting everybody know where we stand at any point in time. And it's giving one the opportunity, being a group, we have 5 companies in the system, is a lot of responsibility sticking to those values. But because when we were in management, we had a board that accepted those values. So now implementing it also is relatively easy for us. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. We really appreciate you, and it's so quite interesting. I believe even, I don't know why you are not vying for presidency in Nigeria.
I am. Presidency on my side of the bed in my home.
Yeah, someone is raising up his hand. Victor Balogu. Anyway, we will still talk that one outside camera. Victor, can you go ahead?
Yeah,
with your...
thank you, sir. All right, thank you so much. I think like Sir Demola said earlier on, I think the Zoom platform changed a lot of names to Ekwe something. So my name was changed to Ekwe. I had to go and rename it. So thank you so much. It's been a very great evening. And I must say, your views on success and failure is quite amazing. Like I mentioned in my charts, it's indeed a bundle of knowledge. And yeah, I asked earlier on that, and I think you answered that partly, how you're able to manage the Nigerian factor in battling the series of innovation that you came up with. That's several firsts that you scored. How are you able to navigate the Nigerian factor? So my second question is, some people feel there's tension between ministry and business. How do you attend or address that kind of tension? Then my final question is a lot of issues and lack of hope in our terrain in Nigeria. So what would be your message of hope to a young person listening to you, that we should demonstrate resilience despite everything that's looking the other way around. So how can a young person leveraging on your wealth of experience be able to be resilient in a series of factors that is militating against the country, because there is a lot of trend of young people fleeing Nigeria, even to other small African countries at any opportunity. So is there any glimmer of hope? How can one really demonstrate resilience in the midst of all the odd factors, if I may put it that way? Once again, thank you very much. And it's been amazing listening to you this evening. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Lovely set of questions, Mr. Balogun. Thank you. The Nigerian factor, I do not believe you have anything like Nigerian factor, not because we and others from outside the country are here. They just simply, I believe you're referring to corruption. I will not say one is a saint. I'm not a saint. Please take that. I've made mistakes. I was born in flesh. I live in flesh. I make errors. I try not to commit intentional errors. Somewhere in my past, there must be one blot or the other. I do not know which, but errors of omission, not necessarily commission, as much as possible. Now, it's tough, even in most climes, not UK, not Japan, and we've all read in all climes, and we've worked in a lot of countries in the world. We've been there, we've read a lot of things about all countries. So not necessarily Nigeria. Corruption is human. The biggest corruption and corruptive tendencies are not really Nigeria. Corruption is not Nigerian, it's human. Now, how do you deter it? Where you have rules, where you have laws, when you have enforcement, you reduce it. Now, but it also now comes to us as individuals. It's tough. And your next question is about tension between ministry and business. A lot of our preachers, ministers, do not really know what it takes at them when you are confronted. I just told you a company was looking at technical bankruptcy. We invested practically everything we had into a business. If we take the grace of God, a preacher cannot go to that place and say, do not take the bribe. It must start from something fundamental. Who do you believe in? What is your vision? What will happen to you after you made that success? After you made all the money? Will it give you peace? We need to preach what success is, what money can buy, and what it cannot buy. Like the questions that have been asked, what's the value systems? Asking a man not to take bribe without telling him what money can buy, what the value system is, knowing that you have a peaceful home, knowing that godliness with contentment with godliness is great. The man in ministry must have tasted it, must have been out there and said that, look, yes, I was confronted with this. I failed, however, and I've seen this, we failed everything. But at that point in time, when the temptation was going to be too high, when the failure was going to be too high, okay, now you've done enough. That's Mighty Anna took over. And I said, okay, look, you want to do national idea. Why don't you do BVN? Sorry, BVN is what we call bank verification numbering system. So it's a way to identify bank customers in Nigeria. And that now became even a lot more important than the national ID. The national ID relied heavily on the 50-something million BVN. So you may suffer on the left-hand side, but at the time you are being broken, if you can stay on the right-hand side, God is going to compensate you. And even if you die with it, you're going to have this peace. By the way, all the apostles died somehow. I don't wish it on anybody. But there's something you're going to gain. And you're going to have that peace if you're able to stay. But it's tough. Mr. Malogu is tough. But the God we worship is tougher than any corruption, any government, any human being. If only we can stay the course. But I'm not going to lie to you, it's tough. But if you can stay focused, do not go along with that corruptive tendencies, which is not Nigeria. It's human, it's individualistic. Anybody in US, in Japan, in Germany will be tempted, but they know they're going to be caught. But because we have very weak law and other system, the justice system is weak, you will not be caught in Nigeria. That's why it seems as if we are corrupt. We are not any more corrupt than others. It's now up to us and our God, our values, our vision. The tension between ministry and business, yes, it's tough. However, I need to let this, and I do this with all humility. We tend to assume that once you're in ministry, that's the only thing you're supposed to do. Paul the Apostle was not just a minister, he was also a worker. A lot of the disciples, they work. And a lot of the churches that are growing in leaps and bounds today have ministers that are in businesses. You cannot preach what you do not know, what you do not have. You can't give what you do not have. This may be an unpopular call, but it's high time leaders of ministries start allowing ministers to test what their congregation, what they are facing out there. You tell me not to take bribe. Have you had it before? Have you taken bribe before? The man said, the man's mother was killed by a lion. A man's mother was killed by a lion. You are consoling him. Did lion kill your own mother? Now you don't have to console him. Until you've tested it, until you know where the shoe pinches, until you've experienced it, it's going to be difficult. That's why you have that tension. And for us in the environment, we align our pastors, our ministers to be subjected to ridicule because it depends on the congregation. My appeal will be for leaders of ministry to allow our ministers to be independent, to earn their living. Yes, the Levites of old were asked to depend, but I leave it to our fathers in the Lord to interpret that. For the modern day, the congregation is not going to respect a man that depends on them. Today, the pew is becoming higher than the pulpit in terms of knowledge, in terms of communication, in terms of earning power. It used to be before that the pulpit was higher than the pew. We have to change it. Your last question is giving hope to our children. I believe seminars like this, we need to state it. Those of us that are literate, we are creating more problems than good. We are not being patriotic. We are not being faithful. I do not see what you have in UK, in Europe, in US, that we do not have in Nigeria. It's all a matter of our perception. If a man works and he works truthfully, he will earn as good a living in Nigeria as he can do out there. And I've tested it. I have people all over the whole place. In Nigeria, in the past 1 year, we had 4 unicorns in 2021. A unicorn is a company that went from 0 to $1 billion. We had 4 unicorns in Nigeria in 2021. Our children people in the ages of 25 to their early 30s. They created companies in the past 5-6 years that became unicorns. In Nigeria, billionaires, companies that the likes of Facebook, Visa, MasterCard, all bought into, making a lot of waves. Today, Nigerian musicians, entertainers are dominating world music. We are winning Grammys. I didn't prepare for this question, but probably I sent the graph to Mr. Uriyomi. Nigerians are well-trained, literate. We're making waves all over the whole place. People are making tons and tons of money. We have a 220 million market of Nigerians that requires service. Remember, our vision is service to humanity. Now, they all require food, they require water. It's a huge market. They need education. It's just for you to provide these services. If only when we are out there, we work the way we work hard. We work same way. We are diligent, we are disciplined, we are focused. We are God-fearing. We make as much in Nigeria as we make everywhere. And if you look at our children out there, in US, in UK, they work their hands off in the cold weather. If only they can work 50-60% of it in Nigeria. Those that do, and they work in the right environment, they make it. We need to preach hope to our children. It's a virgin territory. It's a virgin market. 220 million people. We do not have enough food. We do not have water. We do not have roads. To get a good tailor is wahala. To get a good mechanic is wahala. To have bricklayers, plumbers, electricians, we do not have. We import people from Benin Republic to Nigeria. A graduate now sits and so for 3-4 years, saying that there is no job. I'd rather give this man a dirty slap. We need bricklayers, we need plumbers, tons and tons of avenues to create value, to serve humanity and make money. We now, out of arrogance, now say because I'm a graduate, I cannot use my hands to work. The job opportunities in Nigeria, and I've been an employer of labor, and I've seen an employer of labor in a couple of companies and institutions. We do not have even a good trade. People that are willing to work. That is our major issue. We have unemployable graduates. Graduates that ordinarily should be artisans, even with their degrees. They want to be white collar or blue collar workers. We need a lot of artisans in the environment, and they can make tons and tons of money. To round this up, Mr. Balogun, I cite the example of Joshua Jewi, one of our bricklayers. I've been working with Joshua Jewi for about 39 years now. He builds our houses, most of the structures I've been involved with. Joshua Jewi is almost a stark illiterate guy. He's one of my very, very good friends now after 39 years of working. The man has 2 houses in Lagos, one in his village. He has about 3 poultry farms all over the place, using his hand as a bricklayer. And he's always in demand. He never has enough time to even do my job anymore because of the demands. We do not have good electricians, good plumbers, painters. We import them from Ghana, Togo, Benin Republic. There is a massive amount of work in Nigeria, opportunity, 220 million people. I told you earlier on, egg distribution. Just distribute eggs, distribute bread to estates, to families. Agric, music, entertainment, tailoring. I do not have good tailors. I use the same James, because the other one, you rather prefer to take money. But James Friday is overworked. In tailoring, yes, graduates sit at home for 2-3 years, same because they have BSc, which when you interview them, you can't even employ them. So we have massive opportunities if only our people can take it. Nigeria is a blessed country. And I can say it, driving taxis, selling eggs, I've been through it, coconut, all this photography. I have a good friend of my daughter's who is into photography. He charges almost 600,000 per session of 4 hours. 600,000 to do that, to snap, like we call in Nigeria. 600,000. He's taking photography to a new level. God bless, I think his name is Kumi. 600,000 for 4 hours. I won't pay a master's degree holder working with me in Chams or ChamsCity after 5 years, even 600,000. But a photographer says for 4 hour session, 600,000. And for you to use him, you have to book way ahead. DJs, you have to book way ahead. Event organizers, you have to book way ahead before they can be on service to you. It's a land flowing with honey, milk, with goodness that God has given us. If only our people can see that hope. If only our people can see that blessing. And may the Lord bless our children. May they have the vision to see all these things that we are talking about. Thank you so much.
I think we should all say amen. No, really.
Amen.
This is a message of hope indeed. And anyway, I believe God has led us to bring you to this platform. One of the key quotes that I took down, our God is tougher than the corruption in Nigeria. I like that. How I wish this message will go far, that our God is tougher than the corruption in Nigeria. And then ministers should test what their congregation members are facing in the business world. Wonderful. The pew is becoming higher than the pulpit in terms of knowledge. Actually, that is, I mean, every minister, with all due respect, fellow minister, we should just be humble enough to admit that. So when we are preaching, we know that we should recognize that these people, they are more exposed than most of us. And you know that, please, participants, we will be drawing the curtain tonight here. We don't want to overstretch our people. I'm still going to give room to my wife to, talking of appreciation, and the name has changed also to David. This Chukwueke have not helped me to recognize him before. He's also online, my son. I know that he may want to appreciate his former mentor. Now, we want to point out some things from our end as an organization. Our strategic leadership movement will be to motivate and mobilize veteran leaders to focus on mentoring emerging leaders. Sir Demola, Aladekomo, we still look forward to this role that we know you are already playing it. If you don't mind, this platform of JIS is another ongoing platform that we are passionate about these connection. Like you said, some people are coming to you, and to all the participants, we will be glad if on your own part, either in the chat, or you like to be a mentor, or you like mentoring any aspect. If you are already in a project and you need further mentoring, innovation, Joyous Innovation 67, that's why we are set up. And we are passionate that we should invest our resources, time, energy, skill in educating and impacting coming generation with life skills. Currently, every week I visit a nearby private school in my house every Wednesday to impact them with life skills. One of the missing gap in our education, life skill, emotional intelligence, cross-cultural intelligence. And we are passionate that these, we will have a movement of leaders who, with interaction with us, are vanguard. They volunteers willingly to impact the life skill and values even to the younger generation. Strategically, I've noticed that over the years, to affect Nigeria holistically, we have to focus on unborn children. Somehow, yeah, we will continue to work on the older generation, but I think our hope lies in younger one. If you want to create change, there is no better place than to start with our kids, even right from home. We really appreciate your coming tonight. We are so grateful. Let me just give room to David. Do you have anything to say? And right now, if you have any round of comments, you can indicate. We still give just about 10 minutes. Yeah. Oluwashefumi, please unmute yourself. Yes, after David, if he has anything to say, and then my wife should be ready for the closing. And I can see Mobalaji Tenibiaje within 10 minutes remaining, please. Ayoluwa, please go ahead.
All right, good evening, House. And I want to use this time to also appreciate our guest speaker, Aladekomo. Thank you so much for the laudable speech. It was really an eye-opener on so many issues. And I realized the fact that even for young starters in career, we should also start thinking long-term, start thinking of fulfillment in terms of impacting lives. It's not just about running the rat race. So, and a question in line with that, I would just like to share briefly. So, now that you are, less involved in the business world, having left the position of the managing director, but now chairing, chairing the board, and among other engagements, what do you see yourself, engaging more in with your time and talents? Even after, let me put it as retirement, in retirement, what do you see yourself engaging in your time and talents in? And that would be my question. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. I said I will set a vision that is way bigger than us. And that's what I'm encouraging everybody to do. Service to humanity is, you will never achieve it in 10 lifetimes because you keep just serving in various ways. So probably in corporate platform, you can do that. But in retirement, in your churches, in your home, there are a lot of things you can get done. Like I said, I'm involved with a lot of schools, a lot of other organizations, families, family issues. I need to even apologize and appreciate my wife. Fortunately, with Zoom now, you stay at home more. But a lot of the issues, they take a lot of your time. But like I said, that little time you have at home, make the very best of it. And I'd like to see this opportunity to thank my wife, my partner, Titi Aladekomo, Reverend Titi Larry Aladekomo, for supporting us in a lot of the ministries that we are involved with. It's quite a lot of the projects, never a dull moment in our lives. Thank you so much, Ayo. Great question. Thank you.
Oh, that is great. I love that. Thank you very much. And I believe the whole house, we are applauding the woman behind the scene. God bless you, Ma. Thank you very much. Please, Mobolaji. Yeah, Mobolaji Tenny, please, can you speak up?
Thank you so much. I will have to appreciate Sir Aladekomo. He sent me this invite personally. I think it's a product of a privilege he offered me some months ago that is going to be standing as a father figure. And this actually opened me up to a lot of information. I need to appreciate him. I don't have questions precisely, but I must appreciate this platform. Indeed, what has been my major concern about the generation that is coming is that there's been a wide gap between the older generation and the young generation. I'm surprised that this is existing without a lot of publicity. We really appreciate you for taking time to educate us and bridging that gap. However, I want to sincerely commend Sir Aladekomo for really giving depth insight into marriage and business. This is a major angle that is gradually becoming a concern for those who are chasing money and forgetting the home as a pillar for peace and a proper life. Thank you so much for pointing a lot of insight and shedding a lot of light into that area. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Can I call you Pastor Oladeji for this privilege? And thank you so much, Ray Wheeler, for the privilege to be able to, for the comments and the question being raised to help us solve some of the knotty problems that is existing in our community. Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Mobolaji.
Thank you, Mobolaji, and you are welcome. We work together. David, go ahead. I can see your hand. Oh.
Good evening, everyone. I joined a little bit late, but the little I was able to glean, I'm really appreciative, sir. Good evening, sir. I just want to appreciate him. He has been very, just like the previous speaker said, he has been a father, and he's not my former mentor. He's still my mentor, even though I know I'm a little bit distant. I mean, and all that. But even, I would mention my IT when I was in 300 level in Uni Osun. I was able to, through him, get a place for my COS, what we generally call IT. So he has really been impactful in my life, and I know he's doing a lot with schools, and I just want to appreciate you once again, sir. And also Ma, his wife. Thank you very much for taking care of you for us, and thank you for for being here. I see a lot of people that were invited. I think he must have shared with his contacts. I'm really grateful for that. Thank you very much. And I learned a lot from, even though from interacting with you over the years, I've known a little bit about you. But each time you tell your story, there's always something different to pick from. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Right. Good night, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's a good place to ask Mrs. Reverend Dr. Mrs. Oladeji, please, can you just give us a lot of thanks? And I think after that, we would like everybody to possibly unmute yourself, I mean, put on your video so that we can see your faces and just socialization afterward. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. We are really grateful for this evening. But because before I say my thanks to Aladekomo, there's a question I'm supposed to ask, and it's burning in my heart. Even if you are not going to address it, and I don't know, you will let me still say it so that you can put maybe 1 or 2 words on it.
Go ahead.
And that is say men and women serve as skilled employees or leaders in Chams. What cultural barriers did you need to overcome to enlist the talents of women in your company? What informed your view of women's ability to succeed in business? Because I'm a woman and it's related to me. And before I say what of that.
So please, let's allow her. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. For me, I believe
I should go ahead with the vote of thanks.
No. Let him finish.
I want him to talk.
Yes. Okay. He's already answering you.
All right. Thank you so much, madam.
Okay.
I strongly believe that we are all created equal, and statistics are even proving that already, and that women, they are massive roles to play. They are rising pretty fast. The girl child must be encouraged in terms of education. I think our parents, we're doing a lot of injustice. A lot of us, we are doing injustice to the men because we are treating them as if they are superior to the women. Unfortunately, the modern world does not state that. The women, they achieve as much, if not better than men. And when you give them responsibilities, I'm not putting down men, you tend to find the women do not have chips on their soldiers. They get the job done better and faster, in a more efficient way. They are calmer than most of our boys. And it's simply because we parents, we've assumed that the boys can do this. So we pile a lot of pressures on the boys, because right from home, we're asking them not to do housework, we're asking them not to do this, we're expecting them to be served. But out there is a different world. You serve yourself, you get the job done. And unfortunately, when we get housemates, we get ladies to be housemates. Our boys, even some of the girls, are not well trained, but mostly it's the boys that suffer when you have housemates in the home. I must thank my wife again. Not a comment on our children, but I must thank our wife for saying, no housemates in our house, we get the job done, boys and girls equally. So today you find our boys cooking, you find them washing plates, doing everything that has to be done. I believe we need to treat boys and girls the same, and also in the work environment. But from my little experience, you boys, you have to sit up. The girls are doing better in the corporate environment, unfortunately for a lot of our boys. Not your fault, the way you've been brought up, but don't make that mistake with your children. The girl child is as good as the boy child. Let's treat them equally, and in the work environment to give them equal chances. Thank you, madam. I think madam is muted.
Yeah, please unmute yourself.
Okay. I've unmuted myself. Okay, I want to say thank you very much to Sir Aladekomo. We really appreciate you for all you have done today, leaving your precious time. You know, people like you are very busy. But when we are able to get you, we know that you are also very reliable. We can trust that you will do justice to that which we wanted you to do. We really appreciate you. We appreciate Madam for releasing you. And thank you very much for impacting young people. I pray that the end of this will not just be our rounding of this evening, will be a lesson to all of us to apply all this impactful advice, both in our places of work as well as in the home. I think it's very, very important. This is where we treated our children, both boys and girls, do the same work. My sons can pound yam very well. They can prepare pounded yam. The same way with my girls, and they can cook. It's only those that are lazy. If any one of them is lazy, after all, we know that's not that they were not brought up that way. So I think this will help all of us. And in that way, even in our offices, we should encourage our young ones, whether male or female, to put on their potentials without intimidation. Thank you very much. We are very grateful. We love you and we appreciate you. The Lord will continue to expand your rising, and He will give you long life to be able to do more, even in the land of the living. Thank you very much. We are grateful. And thanks to everybody, especially to Dr. Rewila. We appreciate you too. Thank you for being here with us. Thank everyone that have participated this evening. God bless you. Good night.
Yeah, thank you
so much,
please.
everybody.
Yeah, please, can we give round of applause to our guest? Everybody, unmute yourself.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
it's a pleasure seeing you.
Thank God, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
you, sir. Thank you, Gabriel.
Now, Engineer
Thank you so much,
your
sir.
name Samuel or Steven?
Samuel, sir.
Okay. Can I see your face again?
I mean, Jack is on. Okay, let me show you.
Thank you.
Okay.
My Jack is smiling. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
So please, communicate.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Good night. Good night.
Good night. Well done.
Oh, thank you. Babatunde, are you okay? You are there to the end. That's good of you. I appreciate you. Yeah, who is here again?
Sikiru.
Samagit. Okay.
Sikiru.
Sikiru. Wow. That is
Sikiru
great.
Morakio.
Yes, I can see. Yeah.
76. OGS 76.
Oh, wow.
I told you earlier now.
Yes, you told me. I actually. Where is your face again? Some of us have changed.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are in Lagos too?
Yes, I'm in Lagos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you? Can you put on your video?
Biado is I'm on my bed. That's why. But let me try.
Okay.
Can you see my face?
Yeah. Wow, that is good. So that's good anyway. I think you still remember the gentle boy then.
I know you very well. I spoke to you earlier when we were doing our legacy project now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I spoke to you. Biado is the president and the vice president.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah.
So keep pushing. I think he was trying to relieve himself of